Hello, all of you. I am Dr. Indrajit Dhole, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Physics of HGM College, Karad. Today's my video lecture is on supercapacitor. So, content of today's my video lectures are: what is capacitor, what is capacitance, how charge is stored in capacitor, factors affecting capacitance of capacitor, why we have chosen supercapacitor, what is supercapacitor, comparison between supercapacitor and capacitor, types of supercapacitor, working of supercapacitor, advantages and disadvantages of supercapacitor, applications of supercapacitors, and then finally conclusion. So before going towards the supercapacitor, first of all we have to understand what is capacitor. Capacitor is an electronics device or electronic component that stores electric charge. Here we have shown the pictorial diagram of capacitor, where two conducting plates are separated by insulating material which is called as dielectric material, and here we have shown two plates. This is the normal picture of a capacitor. The capacitor is made up of two closed conductors, usually plates that are separated by a dielectric material. Examples are wax paper, mica, ceramic, plastics. The plates accumulated electric charge when connected to power sources. These two connections are connected to the power sources. One plate accumulates positive charge and the other plate accumulates negative charge. If this plate accumulates positive charge, then this plate accumulates negative charge, vice versa. So what is capacitance? The capacitance is the amount of electric charge that is stored in the capacitor at voltage of 1 volt. The capacitance is measured in farad. The capacitance C of the capacitor is equal to Q by V, where Q is the electric charge and V is the potential applied to that capacitor. Capacitance of parallel plate capacitor. Here we have shown parallel plate capacitor, where A is the area of plate, D is the distance between these two plates, E is the electric field which will travel always from positive to negative. The capacitance of the plate capacitor is equal to the permittivity times the plate area divided by the gap of the distance between the two plates, where C is capacitance, E is permittivity, A is the area of the plate, D is the distance between these two charges. So how charges are stored in the conventional capacitor? When a voltage is applied to these two plates, an electrical current flows charging up one plate with a positive charge and one plate with a negative charge. When a capacitor is fully charged, there is a potential difference which is called PD between its plates, and the larger the area of the plate, the smaller the distance between them. The greater will be the charge that the capacitor can hold, and the greater will be the capacitance. So this is how a charge can be stored in a capacitor. So factors affecting the capacitance. As we have shown, capacitance C is equals to Q by V. So the factors mainly affecting to the capacitance is charge, electric charge, voltage, and permittivity. So with air as its dielectric, the capacitance formula is C is equals to Q by V is equals to epsilon A by D. And with a solid as its dielectric, epsilon naught epsilon R into A by D. So another factors affecting the capacitance are plate area. The greater the plate area gives the greater capacitance, and less the plate area will give less the capacitance. So why this happens? Larger plate area results the more field of electric flux. So it gives the larger capacitance. Then next factor is plate spacing, the distance between the two plates. All other factors being equal, further plate spacing gives less capacitance. Close plate spacing gives greater capacitance. So this distance will be if this distance is close, then that capacitor will give the larger capacitance. The next factor is dielectric material. the greater the permittivity of the dielectric gives the greater capacitance, less permittivity of the dielectric gives less capacitance. Why this happens? Because materials with a greater permittivity allow for more field flux and thus a greater collected charge for any given amount of field. So greater permittivity gives greater capacitance. So these are the relative permittivities of various common substances. For air, that is 1.0006. All other examples have been given in this slide. So why we have chosen the supercapacitor topic, or why we are going from capacitor to supercapacitor? So these are the basic criteria why we have chosen the supercapacitor. So first point is electricity is relatively difficult to store in a hurry. Then next, batteries can hold large amount of power. Then they take hours to charge up. Capacitor on the other hand charge almost instantly but store only tiny amount of energy. So what is the difference between capacitor and supercapacitor? Battery can store large amount of energy and it can deliver large amount of energy in within second. But in capacitor charge almost instantly but store only tiny amount of energy. So then we need to store and release large amount of electricity very quickly. It's quite likely we will turn to supercapacitors. It also known as ultracapacitors that combine the best of both worlds, that is capacitor and battery. So we have chosen the supercapacitor. So supercapacitor are electrochemical devices with following features. It is having high energy density, it is having high power density, it is having high capacitance, it is also having a longer life too. A supercapacitor is an electrochemical capacitor that has unusually high energy density when compared to common capacitors. They are of particular interest in automotive applications, for hybrid vehicles, and as supplementary storage for battery electric vehicles. So they typically store 10 to 100 times more energy per unit volume or mass than electrolytic capacitor or our conventional capacitor, and can accept and deliver charge much faster than batteries and tolerate many more charge and discharge cycles than rechargeable batteries. So this is the main advantage of supercapacitor over capacitor or batteries. Then supercapacitors are used in applications requiring many rapid charge discharge cycles rather than long-term compact energy storage within cars, trains, buses, cranes, where they are used for regenerative braking. The next is supercapacitors do not use the conventional solid dielectric of ordinary capacitors, where in ordinary capacitors there is a solid dielectric materials is used, whereas in supercapacitors the dielectric materials are not used. They use electrostatic double layer capacitors. In further slides we will see what is double layer capacitance or electrochemical pseudo capacitance. So history of a supercapacitor. In 1950, General Electric engineers started experimenting components using porous carbon electrodes for fuels. So first the supercapacitors were invented by the General Electric engineers. In 1957, H. Becker developed a low voltage electrolytic capacitor with porous carbon electrodes. In 1966, researcher at Standard Oil of Ohio developed another version of components, that is electrical energy storage apparatus, while working on experimental fuel cells design. The nature of electrochemical energy storage was not described in this patent. So principal construction and working of supercapacitor. Here we have shown these are the current collectors, then this is the electrolyte, this one is the separator, and these are the porous electrode. So energy stored in ultracapacitor or supercapacitor by polarizing the electrolytic solution. This electrolytic solution will be polarized and the charge can be stored on these current collectors. So this is the principle of the supercapacitors. So how supercapacitor actually functions? This is the actual pictorial diagram of a supercapacitor, and this is the schematic diagram of a supercapacitor, where positive current collector has been shown, negative collector, this is the negative current collector, negative electrode, positive electrode, and this is the separator. Every electrochemical capacitor has two electrodes mechanically separated by a separator, which are ionically connected with each other, and electrolyte. The electrolyte is a mixture of positive and negative ions dissolved in a solvent such as water. At each of the two electrode surfaces originates an area in which the liquid electrolyte contacts the conductive metallic surface of the electrode. This interface forms a common boundary among two different phases of matter. In this interface occurs a very special phenomenon of the double layer effect. So what is double layer effect? We will see in the next slide. So working of a supercapacitor, electric double layer capacitor. So applying a voltage to an electrochemical capacitor causes both electrodes in the capacitor to generate electric double layer. So what is the function? This is the negative electrode and this is the positive electrode, and this is the separator. This one is the electrolyte. So electrolyte, we have in the previous slide we have seen that electrolyte contains positive and negative ions. So when we apply a potential between this negative and positive terminal, so the negative electrodes attracts the positive ions, and this positive electrode attracts the negative ions. And we can see this is the negative electrode and these are the positive ions. Here the positive electrode and these are the negative ions. So we can call it as a double layer. So this one and this one we can call it as a double layer. So it is known as electric double layer capacitor. So how actually supercapacitor or electric double layer capacitor works? This is the pictorial diagram of a supercapacitor without connected to the potential. Okay, so this is the electrodes. Suppose this one is negative and this one is positive. These are the electrolytes. This is the separator. When eventually we connect a potential difference between these two plates, this is the positive electrode and this is the negative electrode, because positive potential is applied to this electrode and negative potential is applied to this electrode. Then this positive electrode attracts negative ions from the electrolyte, and this negative ions attracts the positive ions from the electrolyte. So here the double layer forms. So it is known as electric double layer capacitor. So the capacitance of the electric double layer capacitor or capacitor can be calculated with the help of this formula, where dielectric constant of medium, that is epsilon, into area of the plate, that is A, divided by distance between the plates, that is the area A. So the formula is C is equals to epsilon A by D. So capacitance C is greatest in capacitors made from materials with a high permittivity, large electrode plates, surfaces, areas, and small distance between the plates. So to increase the capacitance, formula is C is equals to epsilon A by D. So we have to increase the area of the electrode material, and we have to decrease the distance between the two plates, that is the D. So in double layer capacitors have a much higher capacitance values than conventional capacitors, arising from the extremely large surface area of activated carbon electrodes and an extremely thin double layer distance of the few angstrom, that is 0.3 to 0.8 nanometer. So in electric double layer capacitor, what happens? The area of the carbon materials is very high and the distance between the two plates is very low. So that's why electric double layer capacitors gives highest specific capacitance or capacitance as compared to the conventional capacitors. So charging and discharging, as we have seen in the last two slides. Suppose this one is the negative or positive electrode and this is the ions in the electrolyte. So if this is negative electrode, then this will attract positive ions, and if this positive electrode, then this will attract negative ions towards it. So this is happening in the next slide. So apply potential to the electrodes, and what happens? Negative, this is the negative electrode, so it will attract positive ions towards it. Here are the positive ions are attracted towards the negative terminal or negative electrode. So recap of the slides. Apply potential to electrodes, electric field is generated within the cell. So electric field generated in the within the cell. Counter ions add shock to electrode surface. Then electrons and ions held with very strong electric field. So these electrons are flow from the circuit and we will get energy and the bulb will glow. So right now we have studied what is supercapacitor, how supercapacitor works, working principle. Then the types of supercapacitors. There are three types of supercapacitors. First one is a double layer capacitor, second one is pseudo capacitors, and third one is hybrid capacitors. In double layer capacitors, all the carbon materials are included. Whatever the carbon materials are in present life, that are included in the double layer capacitors. It stores charge electrostatically. The next one is pseudo capacitors. In pseudo capacitors, basically there are two types. First one is metal oxide and second one is conducting polymers. So that stores charge electrochemically. Double layer capacitors charge stores electrostatically. Pseudo capacitor charge stores electrochemically. And the third one is hybrid capacitors. Hybrid capacitors is nothing but the combination of these two. That is double layer capacitor and pseudo capacitors. The combination of these two is nothing but hybrid capacitors. So that's why this stores charge electrostatically and electrochemically. Here we have seen double layer capacitor stores charge electrostatically, pseudo capacitor stores charge electrochemically, and hybrid capacitor stores charge electrostatically and electrochemically. So supercapacitor versus capacitors. The definition of capacitor is, in capacitors energy is stored in their electric field, whereas in supercapacitor, also known as double layer capacitor or ultra capacitor, a supercapacitor tends to differ from an ordinary capacitor due to its very high capacitance. So energy density of capacitor comparatively low, supercapacitor's energy density is comparatively very high. The cost is comparatively cheap. The supercapacitor's cost is comparatively expensive than the capacitor. Then dielectric materials are used here. Activated carbons, electrolytes are used. So this is the basic difference. The advantages: less battery drain. A car battery does not deplete due to capacitor. Powerful stereos, amplifiers and subwoofers working mechanism is based on the capacitors. Less damped equipment will help to avoid the excessive drawing of power. Whereas in supercapacitor, high energy storage compared to conventional capacitor technologies, it possesses orders of magnitude higher energy density, low ESR, fast charge and discharge. They can be changed and discharged without damaging to the parts. Then the applications of capacitors are high voltage electricity used in power supplies, high voltage ceramics, small size and capacitance values, excellent tolerance characteristics. Whereas in supercapacitors, the applications of supercapacitors are CMOS, RAM, IC for clocks, microcomputer RAM, power sources of toys, LED buzzer, driving motor. Then the advantages of the supercapacitor: it is having long life, rapid charging, low cost, high power storage and faster release. Whereas in long life, it works for a large number of cycles without wear and aging. That is, for long cycle life means it can work for the 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, even for 10,000 cycles it can work as compared to the conventional capacitor. So rapid charging means it can charge rapidly as compared to the capacitor. So it is having low cost. Then high power storage is also having in supercapacitor. Then faster release means it can release electric charges faster as compared to the conventional capacitor or our batteries. So what are the disadvantages of the supercapacitor? It has the highest dielectric absorption of any type of capacitor. High self discharge. The rate is considerably higher than that of electrochemical batteries. Cell holds low voltage. Due to rapid and large release of energy, EDSCs have the potential to be deadly to humans. So here are some applications of the supercapacitors. Some of the earliest uses were motor starter capacitors for large engines in tanks and submarines. In the power lines, Germany has operated a light rail vehicle which is called as LRV, that uses EDLC, that is electric double layer capacitor, to store braking energy. Then EDLC can be used in PC cards, flash photography devices, in digital cameras. It is having various kind of applications. So used as a backup energy sources for GPS guided missiles. So these are some applications: smartphones, UPS, cranes. Then light rail vehicle in Hong Kong. Then the Paris T3 line runs without overhead wires in some sections. So this is the last slide of my lecture, the conclusion. Supercapacitors may be used where high power and energy storage is required. Then supercapacitors can be used widely because of their long life and short charging time. On the other hand, it has limitations due to its high cost, self-discharge, packaging problems, etc. Thank you.